Hello everyone, welcome back to Vedic Enigma. So I hope that all of you are doing great. So in today's video, we will be talking about the sign of Pisces and what it means to have this particular sign in your 12 houses. So we will be talking about all the 12 houses and the important significance of this sign and what it actually means. So, before I start with the video, I would really appreciate if you like, comment, and subscribe to Vedic Enigma. So, it will really mean a lot to me. So, let's start with the video now. So, as we know that the sign of Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac belt. So, if you see the original Kal Purush Kundali also, it comes in the 12th house. And 12th house is connected with your expenses, it is connected with your sleep, your dreams, and anything which you are basically giving out. So, donations, charity is also seen from the 12th house. And we also consider this to be a malefic house, but compared to the 6th house and the 8th house, this is still a mild malefic kind of a house. And we also see that this house is the house in which Venus gets exalted. Naturally, Venus gets exalted in the sign of Pisces and Mercury gets debilitated. So Venus is feeling very happy and it is in a very good state, in this particular sign. But Mercury, because it is a very logical, practical planet, so it is not very comfortable in the sign of Pisces because this is a sign which is very impractical. So if you see, for example, the sign of Virgo, it is a very practical sign. It is very systematic, very orderly, and it will, pay too much attention to things, because Mercury is exalted over there. So, bilkul opposite is the sign of Pisces, where you are not like paying a lot of attention, and it is more on the basis of your gut feeling. कि आपकी intuition क्या बोल रही है and how do you feel about that particular thing. तो जहां पे भी Pisces का साइन आएगा so you will see that in that particular house you will be very intuitive. आपकी गट फीलिंग वहां पे बहुत ज्यादा वर्क करेगी एंड कई बार आप लॉजिकली प्रैक्टिकली बिल्कुल भी उस चीज के बारे में नहीं सोचेंगे. So that is a very important observation about the sign of Pisces. And we also see that this sign is very creative and imaginative because this is the sign which is controlling your unconscious mind. Whatever thoughts are coming, and while you're sleeping, whatever you are processing, and deep in your unconscious mind, it is controlled by the sign of Pisces and also the 12th house. So if you find, for example, a lot of planets, in the sign of Pisces or Pisces dominant people, with Pisces Lagna, Moon in Pisces, four or more than four planets in the sign of Pisces, you will see them in very creative fields also. Like people who are writers, they are singers, they are directors, and they have to do work connected to creativity in some way. Like a very good example that is coming to my mind is that of Arijit Singh. So he has like around five planets in the sign of Pisces. And water trine itself, is very prominent for him. So he has like 6 out of 9 planets in the water trine in 4, 8, 12 signs. And these signs are also connected with, our past. Water carries a lot of energy from the past and it is also connected with your emotions. So water flows, so these signs itself, it shows that they are not very fixed in nature. Pisces is also a very fluidic kind of very chilled, relaxed, casual kind of a sign. So wherever the sign of Pisces will be, you will also be very chilled, relaxed about that house. You will not be so bothered about that house. And a lot of times you will notice that you want to run away from that house. You want to escape from the things of that house because somewhere you don't want to deal with that house so much. And all your energy and all your mind is going towards Virgo. So that is another thing which you will notice about this. And we also see that wherever Pisces comes, you will be very generous about, giving away things related to that house. For example, if Pisces is coming in the third house, so you are somewhere very generous about giving away your knowledge, giving away information to people. It can even be books, for example. So anything which is connected to Mercury, documents, paper, books, and all these kind of things, you love giving it out to other people. If suppose you find that you have the sign of Pisces in the fifth house or in the ninth house, so it could be connected to knowledge. So somebody could be a teacher or they like to give out knowledge and wisdom to other people. So that is also a nice way to see that how the energy of this particular sign is working. And we also see this sign, like even when I talk about this sign, I have felt this a lot of times in my videos that there is a sense of calmness, there is a sense of serenity that, comes even when I'm speaking about the sign of Pisces. So you tend to feel very relaxed, and it kind of tells you that that is the kind of energy which the sign has. It's a very calming kind of a sign. So even if you want to understand the sign, just imagine that if you are, going for a massage, you're going for a sauna bath, you're going and sitting besides the pool, besides the beach, so that is the kind of environment about this particular sign. And like I was giving you the example of Arijit Singh, who is a famous Indian singer. So he has like so many planets in the sign of Pisces, and this sign is also connected with sleep. And there have been many instances where people have, told that he looks very dreamy, and he seems as if he's sleeping while he's singing, so things like that have also, come. So this is also something which Pisces sign tends to make you very drowsy, sleepy, because if suppose it is very dominant, heavy in your chart, so you will see that even if you have moon in Pisces, so you will notice that it tends to make the person a bit lost sometimes. Because if you understand Virgo, you will be able to understand Pisces. Virgo is a very focused energy. Pisces is very distracted. So even with people who are heavily, dominant on Pisces, they are always distracted. They are lost in their own thoughts, and somewhere they are very high on daydreaming. So that is also something which you will see. And you can even take this as like wherever Pisces goes, like suppose it's in your fourth house, so mother can have these kind of characteristics. If suppose it is there in the seventh house, then spouse can have these kind of characteristics. So something like that can also come up. And we also see this particular sign, so it has that, it is also connected with foreign lands in some way because of the original 12th house signification. So foreign lands or anything which is connected with traveling is also seen from the sign of Pisces. So if you have even a lot of planets in Pisces and you have dominant planets in Pisces, so the person tends to move around a lot. They have traveled a lot, or they love to go to beaches, just like watery places. So that is also something which you will see with this. And we also see that, Pisces is very strong on intuition, on sensing things, on feeling, and also healing related things. So I have also seen a lot of charts of, people who are into psychology, like they are doctors, or they are healers, and especially like people who are, into naturopathy and all of the like the alternative healing arts and all those things. Also you will see Pisces energy is very very prominent, because again it is connected somewhere with a very it's like such an energy which you can only sense and feel. So it is not something which can be understood so much by logic, because this is not at all a logical sign. It's a very impractical sign. So that is the reason why the gut feeling part, the intuition part, the feeling part becomes very very strong with this. So I have also seen cases where people have a very strong seventh house with Pisces, or their Venus is in Pisces. So you will see that even with respect to relationships, when they are going to meet people, they are able to sense something. They are able to know like whether this is a person for them or it is not the person for them, or how the other person is. So if it is coming in your seventh house, you can immediately sense the vibe, the vibration of the other person. So that is also something which naturally comes with this particular sign. And as I said, it is also connected with expenses in some way because it is also the original 12th house. So wherever the sign of Pisces will be, it can also shoot up your expenses in that area, or you would like to spend a lot, on that particular house. So for example, if it is coming in your fourth house, so you love to spend a lot on your house, maybe buying a lot of decorative items for the house. So something or the other keeps on happening. So that is another thing which you will see with this. And we also see that this is, the sign which is not very routine oriented. Like I said, it's a very it has a very moon-like energy to it. If you want to understand the sign, just imagine how moon as a planet is. Moon is a very relaxed planet. It's a very chilled out planet. It loves to eat, it loves to sleep, and it is a very moody planet. So moodiness is also associated very strongly with Pisces. So you will see that people with Pisces Lagna, people with very strong like Pisces sign, suppose they have like three or more planets over there, so they are also very moody. You can't really force them to follow a very fixed routine, follow a very fixed structure. And because they are also very creative and imaginative, so it is, depending upon their mood, they feel something. And they also love spending time with nature. So Pisces also, if you understand it in that respect, it is connected very strongly with nature. Anything which is connected with the universe, anything which is very spiritual in nature, anything which your logical mind can't really understand it, that how this happened. Sometimes things just appear in your dreams, and those things just come to real life. Like I am getting reminded of an incident that happened with me. So I actually got a dream about a particular mandir, and it was a very vivid dream. So I remember a lot of details about that dream even today. And the same temple actually exists in India, and I was actually in that city. And randomly, I just thought it was a Shivji mandir, and randomly, I just thought that, like, let me see the nearby Shivji mandirs in this area. And I went to that temple, and it was actually the same temple which came in my dream. So that is still like I have told this incident to a lot of people, but I was very surprised, that how something like this can also happen. But again, like no logic, or, I don't have a logical reasoning or explanation that how this particular thing happened. So that is why I think that somewhere, when certain things like these happen, like it is definitely connected with things like Ketu, things like Pisces sign with moon, because all of these planets and energies are very intuitive. They are connected to our dreams with our unconscious mind. So these are the kind of things which, you will experience with this particular sign, the sign of Pisces. And we also see the symbol, like symbol is very interesting. You see two fishes. So firstly, it is a dual energy. There is duality in this particular sign. And that kind of a duality also exists in the nature of their personality. Like people who are very Pisces strong, they are dualistic in nature. That duality is there. And that sudden shift of behavior is also there. So when you observe these things very minutely, when you observe people very minutely, you will observe these particular things. And somewhere it is also a very indecisive sign, because if you see Virgo, it is a very decisive energy. Mercury gets exalted there, they are very clear and focused about what they want. But Pisces is a very confused energy. So at times when this sign is also very prominent, such people are sometimes at crossroads in life, and they are very confused about which direction to choose, because sometimes life presents them with, two different choices. Like if suppose it is there in your seventh house, it can be between two people you have to choose. You are very confused about two people who to marry. So something like this, you will also notice this particular pattern because of the duality in the symbol. Also, the duality is there. Like Gemini is also a very dual sign in that respect, and in the symbol itself, it is like the twins, and that duality is present. So in this also, it is like two fishes, and so it is like that confusion, indecisiveness is there, with this particular sign. And we also see that, as I was talking about nature, and it is connected with universe, it is connected with oceans, because oceans are like very huge. So anything which is very vast, anything which does not actually have a boundary, it is limitless kind of a thing. That is also seen from Pisces. That is why we are seeing the entire universe, or something which is very big. So that is why you will see that this sign is very broad-minded also. Pisces people, they are so, I would say, accommodating, adjusting. They have high level of empathy for other people. They are good listeners, and they are also, they are not rigid about things. This is not at all a rigid sign. They are very understanding. You will see they are not uptight. They will also love to wear just anything which feels very comfortable to them. So, these are the kind of things which, you will notice, like small details about. Like, I had a friend of mine in college, and she had like 5 planets, in Pisces. And she always used to wear, very like, she never used to like wearing heels. That is something I noticed. She always used to prefer wearing flats. Again, things which are very comfortable, and it used to feel very comfortable for her feet. So that was the reason that she gave me. So she will never wear even like very stylish kind of shoes or stuff which may look very fancy, but again it's not very comfortable. So that comfort part becomes very important for them. And Pisces is also connected with your feet, so that is also something which you will notice, that they love to either, and she had like a huge collection of shoes. She was so fond of actually buying new shoes, so, her Venus was also in Pisces. So she had many planets in Pisces. And such people, they also love to spend a lot, so expenses and all will naturally happen. They will not be able to control that also if this sign is like too prominent in your chart. And you will also see that things, whenever the sign is very prominent, you can't really time the things in your life. It's very difficult to time things, and things will happen very randomly and very sometimes spontaneously when you are not expecting them to happen at all. So that is also how the sign works. When you are completely unbothered about it, when you have totally left it, that is when this particular sign gets more activated. Because you will see that when you are too focused about something, when you're thinking too much, you are activating your Mercury more. You are behaving more like Virgo, because you are constantly thinking about it. And Pisces is a very unbothered energy. You don't have to worry about it, you don't have to think about it. So that is how the sign operates, and that is how it gets more activated. So this is another thing which you will notice. And that is why when it is Jupiter is ruling and controlling this sign along with Ketu. So Jupiter and Ketu kind of a combination is there. That is why if you have to understand how it is different from Sagittarius also. Sagittarius is your dharma. It is your religion. So it's a very, I would say, uptight kind of a sign more. It's a fire sign. And if you have to understand spirituality, if you have to understand metaphysics, things like that, abstract things, it is Pisces. So that is like the basic differentiation factor between both of these signs. So think people who have, like for example, your third lord is in Pisces, your Venus is in Pisces, they are also really interested in knowing and, understanding about, beyond the universe, what is there, and things like physics, things like, for example, anything connected with AI, for example, artificial intelligence and things like that really interest them. They are very curious to know and learn more, even connected to healing, for example. And you will see that when you are very relaxed, when you are a part of nature, if you are connected very well with the universe, you are in sync with the universe, so you will be able to understand this energy in a better manner. So that is how the sign speaks to you. The more your mind is more cluttered, there is more information overload in your mind, and there is not a lot of space for you to think clearly. Till then the sign will not be really working well in your chart. So if you really want to gain something out of this sign, you have to give yourself some space. You have to maybe do a bit of meditation, again, meditation, yoga, anything which relaxes you, anything which puts you in an isolated mode, basically. You will feel more connected to this energy, because you will see that Pisces is also somewhere connected with your isolation. It is a very isolated sign. And so Pisces prominent people, they don't love going out a lot. They are not very social, but they love spending a lot of time by themselves. And they are very internal also. This is also the sign which can make you very deeply internal, connected with your inner self. So if you want to understand yourself in a better manner, so if the dasha of a planet is coming, which is in Pisces, or for example, in the Chara Dasha scheme, you see Pisces running, so you can see that those are the times when you can feel more connected with your inner self. And whatever you feel internally actually comes out to be true also with this sign, because a lot of times you will see your first gut feeling, your first intuition, as soon as you enter a place, as soon as you meet somebody, how do you feel immediately? All those things are actually very true. So in my personal experience also, I have seen that a lot of times. And if people who have this sign prominent, they will also experience such things. He's in all the 12 houses now. So starting with the first house. So if Pisces is coming in your Lagna, in your first house, then what does it mean? So, as we know, that first house is connected with your entire life, and firstly, it shows your personality, and it also indicates your health, and overall, what is the basic plan and basic things of your life, that how your life is going to play out. So it's a very important house, and because the energy of the 12th house, as we can see, is coming in the first house. So, firstly, it shows that this person is very, firstly, strongly connected with solitude, with isolation. They are the people who love to spend a lot of time alone, and somewhere they are not really the people who are very, themselves when they go out and socialize with people. So even if they want to socialize, they would rather prefer having one-on-one kind of conversations with people rather than like a whole group of people, going together and partying. And so that is not really their thing usually. And you will also notice with this that they are highly intuitive, they are highly imaginative, and they are able to sense things quite quickly than other people. And I've also seen a lot of times Pisces Lagna people, they become very, I would say, childish at times, they don't think practically at times. So I have also met a lot of Pisces people, and sometimes they are very far away from reality, or they want a very different life for themselves. So sometimes that Ketu becomes more prominent, in your chart compared to Jupiter, so they tend to become very different from the society, and they would maybe have very different notions of things, and maybe their views on marriage, their views on children, or just how they have to lead their lives, may be very different. So you can even find them talking about that, how they want to retire at the age of 35, or some notions they have, some things they have which are very different from the other people. They don't want to follow the norms of the society. They don't want to follow the herd mentality. They want to do something different. They want to carve their own identity. So that is the kind of thing which sometimes happens with them. And you will also see that it's very difficult, for them to lead a very structured life. They are not really the people who go by the rule book, or they are really not the people. Like in general, you will see whatever happens in their life, it happens very naturally at times. It's not very planned. Even if it is about choosing their education stream, if it's about choosing their life partner, they tend to go by their gut feeling a lot. That is another thing which I have noticed, that they don't think too much, or they are not very in-depth thinkers about these major decisions of their life. Or maybe because they have so much trust and faith in some way that it will work out fine and it will be good at the end. So that is how they lead their life. That is a major energy which flows in all their life matters. And also with Pisces in the Lagna, there is a chance that the person can put on weight, or they can have a tendency to eat a lot. So that is also something which is noticed. And they also tend to be really into daydreaming. Like they are very lazy at times, and you will see them. They love relaxing more than working. So relaxation is very, very important for these people. Sleep is very important for them, because when they are relaxed, when they sleep well, when they're calm, that is when they feel their best. If they are not really the people who believe in that hustle culture so much, so that is more of an Aries, Leo, fire sign kind of a thing. So water signs in generally also, you will notice that they are very relaxed and they want to lead a very relaxed pace in life. They prefer living in a place very isolated, maybe a place like Shimla, a place in Himachal, or like a place in Mussoorie, Dehradun, that side, like which is very quiet, very calm, and the pace of life is very slow. That is their ideal life. That is what they really dream of. So they are really not the people you will see who really love to be in that city culture, like a very crowded place like Delhi, Mumbai, New York. All these places are not really for them. They don't feel their best in those places. They want to go and lead a very secluded kind of a life. And also, at times, you will notice that if suppose the dignity of Jupiter is not good in the chart, then it can make the person very confused at times, like it tends to make the person directionless also. So that, ability to be directionless, aimless in life also comes from Pisces. So if Jupiter is not well placed in the chart, you will see that they can also be very distracted in life in general, like they really don't know where to go, or there's a lot of confusion, or sometimes they are confused between materialism and spiritualism. That is also something that you will see that they really don't know which side to go. So that duality and confusion also comes in their life. So these are some patterns that you will notice in general, because lagna is very important, because whatever sign is there in your lagna, this is like a blank chart prediction. I really don't know the planets that you have and how well Jupiter or Ketu is. But generally, also, you can say that, this is the trend, or this is the pattern that is going to be there in the person's life, because lagna Lord is also connected with your intelligence and how you're thinking. So their intelligence is also somewhere controlled by this Pisces sign. And I've also noticed another thing, that Pisces sign is not a very common ascendant to have, Pisces and Aquarius also. So even so many charts I have seen, I have not really seen so many Aquarius people, so many Pisces people, even Aries, so like Virgo, Sagittarius, they are very common to find. These signs are a bit rare to find, I would say. So that is also something which you will see, and this sign is also connected with foreign lands naturally. So when you have Pisces in the lagna, so there is a connection which the person naturally has, that they want to leave, and they want to just leave their home city and go to a different place. That escapism mentality sometimes is there very strongly in them, and that escapism mentality is there in other things also in life. Like sometimes, if again Jupiter is not in good dignity, they can even go to addictions, they can go to different resorts where it's not a very healthy way of coping. That is also seen with this Pisces sign. So many things you will find, but again, you have to see Jupiter's placement. That is very important to see. So coming to the next house, which is the second house. So suppose you are an Aquarius ascendant and you have the sign of Pisces in the second house, then what does it mean? So second house, as we know, is connected with your family. It is connected with your wealth. It is connected with your speech. So firstly, you will notice that these are the people who love to either expend a lot of money on their family, or on jewelry, on ornaments, these kind of things, or money tends to go on these things a lot, because the energy of the 12th house sign of Pisces is coming in the second house. And they are also the people who can do anything for their family, actually, because you will see that Pisces is connected with a very generous energy. Like it tends to make you sometimes overdo things, because you are in so much in love sometimes, and like you are not, it's a very selfless energy, like things like unconditional love, things like being very selfless, doing a lot for others, that kind of an energy is there. So humanitarian activities are also seen from Pisces. So you will see that these are the people who love doing a lot, going out of the way to do things for their family. And also you will see that they can love to spend a lot on food also, because food is also connected very strongly with the second house. So even like jewelry, ornaments, those kind of things I said. And somewhere you will see their speech can be very slow at times. Slow in the sense that they tend to take a lot of time to think and maybe then speak. They are not very fast at speaking, and they are very relaxed and chilled, while speaking. So people who, take their time, they will process things and then speak. And they can also be like, if again Jupiter is in a good dignity, or Jupiter aspects the second house, for example, they can be very wise in their speech. Like people who, whenever they speak, there is so much of wisdom that you can gain from their words. So that is also the kind of energy which naturally comes, in the sign of Pisces placed in the second house. So with Pisces coming in the second house, you will also notice that such people can actually gain, their wealth from foreign countries also. or they can maybe work in a hospital, so any place which is connected to the 12th house. So that is the place from where their money can also come. So that can also be seen, with this particular placement. Or it can even show that when they donate more, when they do more charity, because Pisces is connected with those kind of things also. So it has a very strong impact on their wealth, you know. So that is also another indication with respect to this placement. So coming to the next house, which is the third house. So if suppose you have a Capricorn ascendant and you have the sign of Pisces in the third house, then you will see that this house is connected with communication firstly. It is connected with any kind of information, anything connected to traveling, movement, transfer, changes, these kind of things. So with Pisces coming there, so firstly, like I had mentioned in the beginning of the video also, such people can love to share a lot of knowledge, information with other people, and they do it very selflessly. It can even be in the form of distributing books, for example, giving out information to people who need it the most, spreading information in WhatsApp groups, So these kind of things you will see with this particular placement. Also, because third house is connected with things which you like to watch, things which you like to read, and anything which is of your interest, of your hobbies. So their hobbies can also be connected with Pisces, like meditation, like doing yoga, maybe going for a very good massage, or like sauna bath, going to the beach, or being very spiritual, like reading books, on spirituality, or following, certain spiritual gurus. So these kind of things are really draw their attention, and these are the kind of things that they really love to watch, read, and they love to stay connected with these kind of experiences. And with this, traveling also becomes very prominent in the person's life. Like they can love traveling to places that are connected to water, so near watery places, they can have a really good love for that. And in general, also, you will see that there is again something or the other expenses keep on happening with respect to third house, because the energy of the 12th house is coming in their third house. So they can, either they're spending a lot of money on books, on knowledge, information, on doing a lot of courses, for example, upskilling themselves, or on traveling, like on tickets, flights, and all of these things. That is where their money is really going towards. So all these kind of things you can, decode from the Pisces coming in the third house. Also, if you see that, with respect to the ninth house, it becomes the seventh house. So it is the seventh house of your father. So it can also indicate, suppose your father is doing a business, so it can indicate that a lot of expenses, a lot of investments are going towards his business. Or business can also have a lot of like losses also can happen. If suppose there is a malefic planet that is transiting this particular sign, so it can indicate something like that also. Or he can do business overseas, like some international logistics kind of a thing can be there, something like that also. So you can also look at it from different other houses, like from the seventh house, if you notice, it is the ninth house, so it can indicate the nature of your father-in-law also. So father-in-law again is a person who can be very spiritual, who can be very relaxed, calm kind of a person, and somebody who is very easygoing, somebody who is very liberal, broad-minded. So that is the kind of person who comes, to your mind when you think about the sign of Pisces. And it is also somewhere indicating the losses, expenses of your mother. And so it can indicate, those things also. So because from the fourth house, it is the 12th. So like this, you can see from, all the different houses. And generally also, if you notice that our house is also connected with your public speech, with your public communication and how you're dealing with people, how you're expressing yourself. So it can indicate that sometimes these people, can be a bit confused, can be a bit not maybe very unsure while they're expressing themselves, while they're expressing their thoughts. So sometimes that clarity, confidence can lack, with Pisces coming in the third house. Because if you notice right across it, it is Virgo. Virgo is a very confident communicator. Virgo is a very intelligent planet. It is a planet based on logic. Sorry, not planet, it is a sign based on logic, because Mercury is prominent there. So with Pisces, sometimes the logical facts are not there, sometimes data is missing, so certain carelessness is seen in the sign of Pisces also. So that carelessness sometimes can come in the way they're expressing themselves, the way they are talking with people, the way they are giving their interviews, in those kind of things, the energy of Pisces can come into the play. So that is another thing which you will see with this. Coming to the next house, which is the fourth house. So suppose you find that you are a Sagittarius Ascendant and you have the sign of Pisces coming in the fourth house. Then what does it mean? So fourth house, as we know, it is connected with your mother. It is connected with your homeland, with your home also. It is connected with your vehicles, and it is also connected with your the profession of your spouse. Because it is 10th from the seventh house. So these are some of the things which you see from the fourth house. So if you have Pisces coming in the fourth house, so firstly it shows that this is the kind of person, for them, peace is isolation. Peace is solitude. They love to. I've seen so many Sagittarius people, like they love to spend time at their home where there are not a lot of people. They don't like to have a lot of people coming in their house, and they are very happy by themselves. They are the kind of people, they would love to read a book, sit in a corner, and just enjoy their coffee or tea. So that is like relaxation for them. That is peace for them, because fourth house is also your peace. So they get a lot of peace when they are by themselves. When they are traveling to a foreign country, when they are I've seen many people who love cruises. Like they love to relax by the cruise, and like anything connected to water, beaches, and all those kind of things. So that is something which gives them a lot of contentment. It gives them a lot of satisfaction in life. And it can also indicate, because 12th house energy is getting connected to the fourth house, so they can have a lot of expenses pertaining to their house. Either they are maybe purchasing a lot of vehicles. Like I've seen some people who change their vehicles every like 2 years. They would maybe buy a second-hand vehicle also, but they would love changing their cars a lot. So some kind of a habit like that can be there. Or they are shifting their house a lot. Again, another indication. Shifting houses a lot. So there is a lot of expense, or there is a lot of energy which is getting exerted on fourth house related things. Or they are buying a lot of like decorative stuff, furniture, continuously for their home. So something or the other is, keeps on happening over there. This is also one of the indications, like blank chart prediction, one of the combinations which can indicate they can settle also in a foreign country. Because if you're a Sagittarius ascending, then there is a slight possibility that it increases the chances, because the energy of Pisces is already coming in the fourth house. Now, obviously, if other planets support, like suppose you have Rahu coming in the sign of Pisces in the fourth house, you have Rahu in the 12th house, so it becomes very supportive then. Or if the fourth lord, like Jupiter, is going in the 12th house itself. So this is another indication which can show that. So these are like, the things which you will indicate, which will get indicated with this. Also, at times you will see that they can have two homes, or there is something where they are altering between two homes. Like half of the time they stay at one home, and maybe half of the time they are staying in another home. So that also you can see. So again, duality is coming with respect to houses, with respect to vehicles, also it can come. So these are all of the things which will get indicated with Pisces in the fourth house. Even their mother can be very spiritual, very religious, not religious so much, more spiritual, very broad-minded, open-minded, and somebody who is very liberal. Like not a person who is very bothered much, very relaxed, cool kind of a person. It can indicate that also. With respect to the spouse's profession, it can indicate the spouse can be involved in a profession which is connected to Pisces. It can show hospitals, it can show some healing related work, it can show some foreign country kind of a work. So something like that can also come. Or maybe there is a lot of traveling which is involved in the spouse's professional life. So that is another indication for this. Coming to the next house, which is the fifth house. So suppose you are a Scorpio Ascendant and you have the Pisces sign in the fifth house, then what does it mean? So fifth house, as we know, it is connected with knowledge firstly. It is connected with children, relationships, and anything which is to do with your past life. That is also seen from the fifth house. And you can see that fifth house is actually ruled by the sign of Leo, you know. So it is also connected with, your, I would say, not only children, but also entertainment, drama, theater, arts. Again, a creative, very creative house, creative expression of any sort. That also comes through the fifth house. So when the energy of Pisces sign goes there, it is actually a very excellent combination to show somebody who can be very creative, because and very creatively imaginative also. Because Pisces sign is a very imaginative, sign, and it is also connected with your feet, so and fifth house is a very creative house. So it can also indicate somebody who can be a dancer, for example, or they can love dancing a lot, or they are a professional dancer. They can be into theater, arts, things like that. They can be writers also. So any work which involves a lot of behind the scene kind of jobs, involves a lot of creativity, imagination. So they can be good at those things. And it also indicates that they can have a lot of knowledge, or they give out a lot of knowledge and wisdom to other people. Because fifth house is also the house of knowledge. And Pisces is about giving out to people. They can also teach like underprivileged children, for example, because fifth house is also connected with children, and it is connected with anything which is to do with your love relationship. So in those kind of things also, they are very forgiving. They are very, they go out of the way to, do things for other people. And they can also be very intuitive about, these things, that when they maybe came in their first relationship, they did not think much. So it happened very naturally. And it was maybe something that they sensed something about the person, that it feels a good connection, and they, went ahead with it. So they are not really being very Virgo like, when it comes to selecting a person for the relationship. Similarly, with respect to raising children, they can be very liberal about it. So they are the kind of parents who are not very strict with their parents. Sorry, not very strict with the children, so they will give them a lot of freedom, because freedom also comes from the sign of Pisces. So it shows that with respect to relationships, with respect to love matters, with children, you are very open-minded. You love to, accept any person, and you are very, very changeable with respect to that. So all of these things it can show. It can also show a very strong past life connection with your children, with your lover, like any person who comes in your life as a relationship. So it shows that there is some strong past life connection also with them. And it can also indicate that with the birth of children, with a new relationship coming in their life, it can also show some expenses happening towards them. Maybe they are spending a lot on their girlfriends or boyfriends. Maybe a lot of expenses are being done towards children. So again, like energy, a lot of energy is going towards that house. And they are doing it in a very sacrificial manner also sometimes, like, because they go out of the way to do such things for other people. So all of these things you will notice with Pisces coming in the fifth house. So coming to the next house, which is the sixth house. So if you find that the sign of Pisces is coming in your sixth house, then what does it mean? So suppose you are a Libra ascendant and you have Pisces in the sixth house. So firstly, it shows that sixth house is connected with your, enemies firstly. It is connected with diseases. It is connected with things which give you problems, struggles in life, challenges in life. And it is also the house which is connected with your efforts. It's a very hardworking kind of a house. And it is connected with competition, with small animals, with court cases, litigation, fights, these kind of things. So Pisces, when it comes in the sixth house, already shows that, again, like Libra people, you will see that they are very, very diplomatic. That's why, because they don't like to fight with anybody actually. They are the last people to fight. Because if Pisces is coming with respect to your sixth house, you don't want to fight with any person. You just want to maintain peace with everyone. So Libra people, that's why they make excellent peacemakers. They are the people who, like if two people are fighting, they would be the people who would come in between, they would resolve it. So that is a kind of situation which is happening here. Even people who have done wrong to them, they are very forgiving towards them also. Because sixth house is the house of your enemies. It's the house of people who are troubling you. Even towards them, you are very forgiving. You are not very harsh on them. And it can also indicate in certain cases that there is a lot of expenses which can happen on their health. So that is something which they should be careful about, because sixth house is connected with your health, and energy of the 12th house is coming in the sixth house. So they have to spend, or they are, spending a lot on their health matters, on maybe their gym membership, for example, medicines, those kind of things. A lot of expenses will happen for sure. And sometimes, again, depending upon the planet's place there, it can also indicate those expenses happening towards maybe a court case which was running. Even though they don't like to fight, but still there could be a court case, something where they have to give a lot of money to the lawyer, maybe. So that kind of a thing can also be there again, like if malefic planets are, involved in this particular combination. So something like that can also come, because it shows that your energy expenses are going towards, sixth house related things. And if suppose you have pets, a lot of like grooming expenses and, things like that can also go on pets. And we also see that sixth house is connected with competition. So this is the house where you have to fight. And at times you will see that such people are not able to fight. So even when you have to fight, even when you have to face competition, they sometimes are very diplomatic about it, or they are, not taking Pisces coming in the sixth house. So you will also see that such people can also be very intuitive about their health. So anytime something is wrong with their body, they immediately are able to sense or catch that very quickly. That is another thing which, you will see with respect to this sign coming in the sixth house. At the same time, it can also be quite difficult for such people to follow a fixed pattern, a fixed routine, or doing things in a very structured manner, because it is a very opposing energy clash that is happening in this house, because sixth house naturally has that energy of Virgo sign. It's a very structured, organized kind of a house. And now you have Pisces sign, which is completely opposite to it. So that kind of a clash, you can see with respect to things happening in their lives. Coming to the next house, which we see, which is the seventh house. So suppose you are a Virgo ascendant and you have Pisces coming in the seventh house, then what does it mean? So firstly, it shows that seventh house is the house of other people. It is also the house of spouse. And while they are coming in contact with other people with respect to spouse selection also, they are very intuitive in general about sensing things about people. The first time they meet somebody, they are immediately able to get the vibe of them, how they are internally. So that is something which naturally comes to Virgo ascending people. And they also prefer having people around them who are very relaxed, because Virgo themselves are very high on energy. They are very structured, disciplined, organized kind of people. And somehow when they are, connecting with other people, they want somebody who has a very opposite, aura to them, who is able to somehow make them more calm. So Pisces is a very calm energy. So they have a natural liking for people who are, spiritual, who are calm, and who are very open-minded, very, very liberal. So they don't want to be with somebody who is very closed, very rigid, very narrow. They want somebody who gives them that freedom, that space. That becomes a very important criteria for Virgo ascending people. You can also see that with this combination, they tend to attract a lot of people from foreign lands. Their spouse can also be from a foreign land. One of the possibilities, again, it's a blank chart prediction, but if you have favorable planets supporting this particular thing, then you can say that spouse can also come from a foreign country. And because seventh house is also 4 places away from the fourth house, so it is also representing like a home away from home. So it also shows other places away from your home. So it is also one of the combinations which shows that the person can have a lot of traveling happening in their life, or they have a lot of movement and transfers that are taking place. They can also live in a foreign country. So all of these things become a good possibility with this. If they are into business, they can also do business connected with foreign countries. It can be something of import export, something like that. And they can also have initially, like again, depending upon transits and other placement of planets, they can have huge losses also happening in that if the dignity of Jupiter is not well placed in the chart. So, like I know one chart, with Virgo ascendant and Jupiter is there in the 12th house. and it is with Venus, it is with Sun. So this person has a business, and there were a lot of high expenses that went into it. So still not like profitable, but a lot of money, energy, effort went into that. So that kind of a possibility can also happen with this. And Mahadasha of Jupiter is only full. So this particular combination is getting very heavily activated. And it also indicates that there can also be a lot of high expenses that such people can have on other people, like in general, like maybe any person that they are meeting. So they have to somehow give out more to other people, because Pisces also shows your selfless actions, things which you do for others. It can be any person, like not even the person that you end up marrying, but any person that you maybe spoke before that also, for maybe a few months, or just any random person who comes in your life. You have to somehow do more for them, And such people, you will also see that they are more giving towards other people. They are also forgiving towards other people, and they have that humanitarian aspect towards people in general, because seventh house also represents the public, it represents the masses. And Pisces is a very selfless energy. Like I said, that Venus gets exalted over there. It's a very pure, blissful kind of an energy. And they tend to trust other people also very easily with this combination. So again, like depending upon placements of planets, sometimes the trust can also go wrong and people can cheat them also. That is also a possibility. So they have to be a bit careful about that. And it also indicates that they can have a natural liking for people who are very they either live in a foreign country, or they can have some connection with foreign countries, or some connection with hospitals, some connection with things which are connected to meditation, yoga, spirituality. So their spouse can also have some inclination or some interest with respect to these particular domains. So that is also something which we notice with Pisces. So if you are a Leo ascendant and you have the sign of Pisces coming in the eighth house, then what does it mean? So eighth house is a house which is connected with sudden ups and downs of life. It is also connected with your spouse's family because it shows your in-laws. It is connected with inheritance, other people's wealth. And it is also the house of chronic illnesses, or anything which is very chronic in nature, which is getting carried forward. And we know that Scorpio energy comes naturally in the eighth house. So it's also a very hidden, mysterious, dark kind of a house. And it is also the house which is connected with secrecy, so any kind of secrets, anything which is very private in nature, occult, astrology, anything which is to do with surgery, accidents, and all of these things also come in the eighth house. So Pisces sign, which when it comes in the eighth house, so firstly it shows that when it comes to the person's chronic pain in life, or chronic things which are getting carried forward, it has a lot of roots, connected with their unconscious mind. Like such people can have a tendency to overthink a lot, because their 12th house, their unconscious mind is coming in the eighth house, so they are either like overthinking a lot about whatever, anxieties or whatever things are happening in their life. And that can sometimes cause a lot of, misery to them, because of that overthinking nature. It can also indicate sometimes they can have some, ups and downs or sudden events connected to foreign countries, connected to hospitals, because again, energy of 12th house is getting connected to the 8th house. And we also see that it is also indicating somewhere the nature of their in-laws. So in-laws can be very liberal with this, they can be very open-minded. And it shows usually, like again, if you have good planets placed there, good planets aspecting this particular sign, and if there are no malefic planets associating with 8th house, it can show people who are actually very good people. They are very generous, they are very selfless, because it shows that Pisces sign is a very kind and generous sign. And it can also indicate that such people can have high expenses, pertaining to things connected to the eighth house. So they can maybe have that nature to spend a lot on maybe astrologers, occult kind of things, So anything which is the eighth house things. And it can also indicate that they have to do a lot of expenses, or they have to overdo a lot for their in-laws, for their spouse's family, because that also comes in the eighth house. So these are some of the things which you will see. And also, if you notice that from the ninth house, which is the house of father, this house, eighth house is 12th from it, so it is also indicating the expenses and losses of your father. So with this combination, father can also have either a lot of strong connection with foreign countries, like he can travel a lot to different foreign countries, or he can have some losses or high expenses pertaining to foreign countries. So that is also a possibility with this. And we also see that if you look at it from the fourth house, which is the house of mother, so it is the fifth house from there, because it is eighth house is 5 places away from the fourth house. So it shows that with this, mother can have a lot of good knowledge, and she can have a lot of wisdom, about different subjects. Like for example, she can be very religious, or she loves to spread out a lot of religious information, spirituality related things to other people. Because fifth house is again connected with your knowledge. It's a knowledge house. So like this also connected, depending upon different houses, you can see. Even you can predict a lot about, for example, the spouse, like it is second from the seventh house. So it can indicate the spouse's spending patterns. It can indicate the spouse's wealth. It can show the spouse's speech. So it can show that the spouse can have a tendency to spend a lot on food, for example, doing a lot or spending a lot on his family, because or doing extra things for his family because it is coming in his second house. So these are like, some of the things which we see with this combination. And another interesting thing with this, again, eighth house is also a very intuitive house, because 4, 8, 12, like, this particular trine, water trine itself is a very intuitive trine. So when you have the energy of Pisces coming in the eighth house, such people can actually become very good healers. They can go into work which is connected with intuition, which is, for example, tarot readers also, for example, occult. And they can sense things very quickly, like again, your gut feeling, your intuition is getting played out with respect to eighth house related scenarios. And with this, it can also indicate because 12th house is also the house of humanitarian activities, anything which you do selflessly, basically. So there is a lot of selfless devotion that is there towards eighth house related things, towards eighth house related people. And so again, this devotion can be towards any person who is connected with your spouse's family. It can also be connected in some way to people who are connected with the eighth house very strongly. Like, for example, people who are into mortuary, cremation kind of a work, So, like people who do a lot of good deeds with respect to such kind of activities, or they help a lot of people during this particular time. So, it can be in your family also. Like, I have seen certain people who have done a lot of work because with respect to cremation and all these things, also there is so much of work that needs to be done. So maybe they are helping a lot, they're going out of the way to help their relatives and everything. So, during that particular time. So again, that kind of a, I would say feeling or that kind of a thing is coming for other people at the time of, when there is a lot of need, like when there is a lot of emergency, because eighth house is also the house of emergency. So such people can also be involved in doing a lot of selfless activities when people need them the most. And that is the time when a lot of people back out. Like when the time is good, everybody is with you, but when you actually need them the most, nobody is there with you. But people who have Pisces coming in the eighth house, they are the people who are actually there for other people during the time of need, during the time of crisis, they are there. Because their Pisces nature comes out the most during that. So now we will talk about if the sign of Pisces comes in your ninth house, then what does it mean? So suppose you find that you are a Cancer ascendant and you have Pisces in the ninth house. So it shows that ninth house is firstly connected with higher education. It is connected with father. It is also connected with philosophy, religion, and things which are very deeply rooted in morality, principles, ethics. So it shows that such people can be very spiritually inclined. Firstly, they can have a lot of interest in philosophy and they have a very broad-minded approach, towards other cultures. So you will find these people to be very liberal and very accepting towards other people of different culture, caste, religion. They will not care so much about these things. And because they are very flexible and fluidic with respect to ninth house related things. And you will also notice that a lot of Pisces-like nature qualities will be there in this person's father. So they can be very intuitive, they can be very good listeners, and they can also be spiritual in some way. And people like who are very calm, composed, and have a very evolved kind of an aura. So they are not really the people who would nitpick a lot. They are very open with respect to everything in life. So that is a kind of energy which comes in the ninth house. And we also see ninth house for higher education. So because the energy of 12th house is naturally coming in the ninth house, so it can show that these people can travel to a different country to attain their higher education, or they can also have a lot of expenses. They can have some loans that can happen with respect to their education. That is also a possibility with this. And overall, you will see that ninth house is also the house which is connected with your bhagya, luck, your destiny, where your fortune is. So it shows that fortune, bhagya, luck is also having some connection with foreign lands, with 12th house related things. And the more they travel, actually, the more they are exposed to water bodies. They're surrounded more by water, and though they get more lucky in life, you can say, provided Jupiter is well placed and malefic planets associations are not there so much with respect to ninth house. So it shows that whenever they would take pilgrimage kind of a thing, which is really near a water body, or they would go to a foreign country which is very close to water, so they can have good, positive experiences happening in their life, or some new wisdom, some new guidance they can get through that experience. So that is also possible with it. So they should definitely travel more, explore more in life. And also we see that ninth house is connected with your knowledge also. It is also a knowledge house. So they can also be very knowledgeable about things like meditation, yoga, spirituality. They love to impart a lot of wisdom, guidance, knowledge to other people. So they can also be very good counselors. They can be motivational speakers. They can be people who can uplift you in the time when you need them the most. So these are the kind of areas, which they can work in. And also we can see that, with respect to the seventh house, ninth house becomes the third house. So it is also indicating your short distance travel, your communication and hobbies, interests of your spouse. Your spouse can also have such interests, which are very strongly connected to the sign of Pisces. So all of these things, you will notice with respect to this particular combination. And it can also sometimes, if the dignity of Jupiter Ketu is not that good or some malefic transit is happening, it can indicate some losses, expenses happening through pilgrimage visits to foreign countries. Like you went to a foreign country and somebody stole something valuable. So something like that can also be possible with this particular alignment. Coming to the next house, which is the 10th house. So suppose you find that you are a Gemini Ascendant and you have the sign of Pisces coming in the 10th house, then what does it mean? So 10th house, as you know, it is connected very strongly with your reputation, with your image, with your career and your karma. It is a house of karma mainly. And we know that Capricorn energy is very prominent in this house. And now you have Pisces sign coming in the 10th house. So firstly, it can indicate there is some duality, there is some confusion, indecisiveness with respect to the person's career choice or with respect to the career, what this person has to take up. They can have that aimlessness or directionless sometimes in their lives. And it also indicates that they would want a profession or a career which is very Pisces well. That is their natural inclination, that they want something which is very relaxed, which is very self-paced, very flexible. These would be the things which would really make them interested to work. Because Capricorn, is a very disciplined kind of a sign. Pisces is not at all disciplined. It's a very lazy, casual, relaxed kind of a sign. And a sign which does not like to follow routine. It loves to sleep, so that is the kind of environment that they live in. So they basically want work from home. They want work in which they can take as many leaves as possible. So sometimes it's difficult to find this kind of an environment. And that is the reason why they are, at times very confused about their career choices and what they have to do in life. At the same time, it can also indicate that for some people, they can do some work connected to foreign countries because the energy of 12th house is also getting connected to the 10th house. Or they can have some expenses happening with respect to their work. They can have some losses, some expenses happening, or it can show some work which is connected with foreign clients or they are either working in a foreign country. So all these kind of things become quite possible with this combination. And it also indicates that, with respect to their image, reputation, status, they are not really the people like Gemini ascendants who really chase that thing so much in their life. So for them, it is very important that they should be very, I would say, that Jupiter influence is still there. It shows that because this is also the sign which is ruled by Jupiter. So they want to do their work in an ethical, honest, truthful manner. That thing is there. But at the same time, they are not even the people who would be the most ambitious people, naturally. Like blank chart prediction again for Gemini ascendants, that who would want to have that power, who would want to have that drive. So that kind of thing is not there internally so much, in them. For them, again, it is important, like interest, because Gemini is in the first house, Pisces is there in the 10th house. So something which is very exciting for them, something which makes them curious, something which is of their interest. So that is something which they will always seek first, that whatever suits them the most. So that is the whole thing which you will notice with this particular alignment. Coming to the next house, which is the 11th house. So suppose you are a Taurus ascendant and you have the sign of Pisces in the 11th house, and what does it mean? So 11th house, as we know, it is connected with your network circle, with your friends. It is connected with your hopes, wishes, desires, ambitions. And it is a very ambitious kind of a house. And it is also the house of your elder sibling. It is also the house which is connected with the fifth house of your spouse, because from seventh house, you can see it is 5 places away. It is the third from the ninth house. And it is the eighth from the fourth house. So these are extra things which you can see from this house. So firstly, it shows that these are the people who are very intuitively select their friends, like their gut feeling, their intuition, and whatever suits them or whatever they feel the most comfortable with, like they would love to hang out more with that person. So they don't really chase friendships just for the sake of it, or they don't really chase people, because maybe they are very famous or something like that. For them, their gut feeling, their intuitive connect, that bond becomes very important for them. So that is the very first thing that they see. And with this, we would also see that because 11th house is a very ambitious kind of house, it is also the house of growth. So Pisces sign being over there, it shows that they are okay with growth, which is kind of very, not a very fast-paced growth, but a very relaxed kind of a growth. Also, they're okay with it. They don't really have a lot of that hustle kind of a thing, in them to attain that growth thing so much. Unless and until like other planets are there which are pushing them more. But generally you will see that they are not really the people who would be the people who would be the first ones to chase a lot of things. So they are a bit relaxed, with respect to that. And it can also indicate that in certain cases there can be some high expenses or there can be some losses that can get triggered through their network circle. So through their friends, through the people that they are, connected to. So something related to that can also happen. And they can also have a lot of connections with people, like global connections also they can have, because Pisces is also a very international kind of a global kind of a sign, that represents foreign countries and all. So this energy is now coming in your 11th house. So it is indicating that you can have a lot of friends, connections from different countries, people from different backgrounds, so very mixed kind of a friend circle they can have, with respect to this. And we also see that Pisces is where you are actually least bothered sometimes. You really don't care so much about that house. And you have somehow left it and you don't use a lot of your mind. Over there, you just want to relax. So for them, like when they are with their friends, they just want to relax. They want to have a very chill, casual kind of a time. That is their ideal, environment in which they feel really happy. They are really not the people who would love to do a lot of outdoor activities, maybe with their friends or be very adventurous with their friends. For them, it's a very chill, sit down, relaxed kind of a conversation, kind of a thing which they really like to do. And it is also the house where I told that you are also somewhere very selfless about that house. You want to do some humanitarian activities towards that house. You want to help people. You are very generous about that house, wherever Pisces will become, wherever it will come. So it shows that with respect to 11th house, things such people are very, very helpful actually, for their friends. Like they would love to go out of the way to help them. They would even go out of the way to help other people generally, because 11th house is also the higher version of the 6th house. There's 6 places away from the 6th house. So it is also connected with service, with doing seva, and Pisces sign is coming over there. So it shows that they can be involved with a lot of humanitarian activities. They can be connected with NGOs. They love to do volunteering kind of work. All of these things are something which gives them a lot of peace internally, because peace is also connected with the sign of Pisces very strongly. So when they are with their friends, it gives them peace. Whenever they do some, donation, some charity, some non-profit kind of a work, they get a lot of peace and happiness, satisfaction in their life. So these are like, some of the things which you will see with respect to Pisces sign coming in the 11th house. So now, and also another thing, they can also have a lot of wishes, hopes, desires can be connected to Pisces sign itself. So their desires, hopes can be, I want to go to and explore different foreign countries. So something connected with 12th house can be, as part of their wish, desire, something they really want in life. And again, their wishes, desires generally, like you will see, it happens, gets fulfilled when they least expect them to be, when they have literally left it. So you have to be a bit unbothered about that house. You have to like just let it be sometimes. Last house we will be covering, which is the sign of Aries. Like if you are an Aries Lagna, Aries Ascendant, and you have the Pisces sign coming in the 12th house, then what does it mean? So as you can see that this is the original Kalpurush Kundali, and energy of 12th house is only coming in the 12th house. So it shows that you are firstly very much synced with that 12th house, because 12th house is connected with your sleep, it is connected with your unconscious mind, it is connected with your dreams. So Aries ascendant people, like they can actually get a lot of hidden messages, in their dreams. Like sometimes they just see certain things in their dreams and those things come out to be true, or something really big is about to happen in their life and that will come in their dream. So they already are able to get messages. They're already able to get really good intuitive things, about what is going to happen in their life through their unconscious mind and through their dreams. It also shows that, with respect to 12th house things, they can have, or they can like spend a lot of money on that. Like a lot of money being spent on foreign countries, like on flight tickets and anything connected with foreign, anything connected with meditation, with yoga, with spirituality, with hospitals. So that is where their energy is getting exerted. That is where their expenses are going towards. And that is also where their unconscious mind is continuously stuck, on those things somewhere. And because 12th house is also a very private house, it's like just like the 8th house, 12th house is also has a hidden private energy. And you find that Pisces sign is coming, over there. So it shows that such people also get a lot of peace, a lot of contentment. When they are in that isolated mood, when they are in solitude, they can actually get a lot of good ideas, and a lot of like, their mind tends to give them a lot of new things, which sometimes they're not able to get when there's a lot of clutter happening, everywhere. Like when, they're surrounded by too many people, when they are in the crowd, and or too much information is overload is happening, then they feel very cluttered. So when they're isolated, when they are a part of nature, the more they connect with nature, the more I would say they are able to connect with their spiritual self more, and the more they are able to grow. Like their personal growth happens when they start devoting some time and they start giving some time to themselves. That is a very important aspect of their life. So I think have to, sometimes detach from the outer world and give that time to themselves. So these are some of the things which you will observe about the sign of Pisces. So I hope that you learned something new from this video, and thank you so much for watching, and see you all the next time.